Welcome to Sure Thing. We're Lakey Peterson
and Kaylee Gilchrist, two athletes who love exploring the world and sharing our stories.
We'll be taking you through the good times, the tough times, and everything in between.
Basically, it's about chasing dreams, staying inspired, and having fun along the way.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Welcome back to another episode of the Sure Thing podcast with your hosts, Kaylee Gilchrist and Lakey Peterson. We have the Snapper event recap, Lakey's Lowdown. Lakey, how are you feeling with your quarterfinal finish?
Oh, I'm feeling a little bit bittersweet with the quarterfinal finish. It's a little annoying, but also I have to keep perspective of everything, and I'm stoked. I had some good moments, some bad moments. Yeah, it's good. It's kept me wanting more. It's like the perfect not satisfied, but also we're okay.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was watching your heat, and I was thinking, we were talking about last episode how some contests are just easy, and Margie's just kind of felt easy to way where things were going your way, and then watching that quarterfinal heat, I was like, ooh, this doesn't look easy.
No, it was one of those ones. I made every mistake in the book, and then also the ocean didn't love me. It was just it was just everything in one. So they happen, much to be learned from it. But yeah, opposite of Margie's, exactly opposite.
But we'll start off. So you're seeded into round two, and your round two heat is versus Carissa Moore. Obviously, the seeding's a little funky, and she came back as a wild card into the year. But what are your thoughts about that? I mean, it's just the luck of the draw sometimes, or you're like, okay, the seeding system could be different.
Yeah, it's hard right now. I mean, well, I think it just speaks to how hard the tour is this year. Literally everyone on the tour is so good. And even in so I'm seated in round two, like you said, but even the round one heats.
Yeah,
there's a couple that are so gnarly. Like this event, we were like, oh my gosh, it's I mean, the round one between Carissa and Tia Zabrowski is that is such a gnarly heat, So
I know it's such a good changing of the guard heat too.
It was, and I was like, okay, I'm getting the winner of this one, which is crazy because either of them could win the whole event. So I think it just speaks volumes to our tour and the level that it's at right now and how cool that is. But yeah, I mean, I've had so many heats with Carissa over the years. That was actually when she beat Tia, I was pretty psyched to get her and be like, this is cool. She's come back. She's obviously one of two GOATs on our side of the sport. And, I was definitely holy crap, okay, it's Carissa Moore. This is going to be a gnarly heat to get through, no matter what. You just never, ever count her out. She's so solid. And she was, actually, we had a couple warm-up days. They, cleared the lineup for us, and she was surfing the same time I was. And I was like, okay, I think this is the best I've seen her surfing all year in those warm-ups. So I kind of knew she had the firepower. And it ended up she didn't end up having the best heat in the heat with me, but she's definitely gnarly. And it was our 20th heat together, me and Carissa.
No
and
way.
Going into that heat, it was 9-10. She had 10 wins, I had 9. And so I tied it up. So now we're 10-10, which was pretty cool stat, I thought.
That's
pretty
so
stoked.
Good. Oh, this is so great. I didn't even know they have head-to-head stats. I just clicked on your guys' heat, and they have all that stats on World Surf League now, which is great. Yeah.
It's cool.
I was watching that. I mean, I think one thing that I noticed is your boards just look so spicy in that heat.
Yeah.
They just look like they were flowing and feeling good. And I know Britt was down there. And were you dialing in boards right before? Obviously, you jumped from Margaret's where you're riding a bigger board, then go somewhere like Snapper where you're kind of on that high performance shorty. How did that pan out?
Yeah, I am on really good boards right now. I'm on this new model, this CI Pro Plus Minus. It's what Britt shaped for Ethan Ewing Stab in the Dark this year, which for those of you who don't know Stab in the Dark, it's this surfboard shapers test they do basically. And Britt shaped it for that this year's Stab in the Dark. And it's not out yet, but I think it's the best shortboard he's ever made. I think it's the best model I've gotten from CI. So I was actually really stoked to ride it because I got a bunch of them before Bells, and I was trying them down at Bells as just my normal shortboards. But then, this whole year I haven't really been able to ride them yet. We just haven't had the right conditions. And Snapper is the perfect wave to ride that model, and they feel really good. I've had a few people say that too, whoa, your boards look different this year, and
they do.
Yeah, I have a very good batch, and I'm clicking with that model a lot. So in that heat, yeah, I felt pretty good. Like I could have probably got a few better waves, but everything. It was just like the iconic, like beautiful Gold Coast day, clear water, 1,000 people on the beach. It was just like, it was so fun that heat with Carissa. There was 1,000 opportunities everywhere. And it was just clean and easy. Boards felt great. So yeah, I was feeling really good going into it for sure.
And you felt like, I think you jumped off early with a 6.67 and then backed it up rather quickly. And Carissa looked like, I was watching, and she just looked really good and sharp when she was on the waves and the turn she got. She just didn't get a proper wave. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, it's just a matter of time. She gets that contest where she rolls, which we clearly will talk about, but we saw Steph do. So it's really cool. I mean, I've said this a million times, but I geek out on you guys because you're friends, obviously, but also just, you know, for us oldies, you get to represent.
Heck yeah, it's so funny. Me and Steph were saying, which we'll get to it, but we're like, look at who's won the last two events, me and then Steph. Like, I'm so over this narrative of like everyone's gonna smoke us all. It's so funny to me. I'm like, well, who's laughing now?
Yeah, I totally agree. But you talked about just like the iconic day at Snapper and on the Goldie, and it's just such a different perspective from the first two contests. So Bells, there's a bunch of lay days, you kind of didn't get the best waves. Then you go to Margaret's, the same exact thing, and you finish the last day. You fly over to Snapper, and it just starts immediately off the back over a weekend too. And you guys got 4 days of pumping surf, and it just looked like all-time energy and vibe from watching, you know, on social media and watching on the webcast.
It was pretty much like the ultimate surf contest this last weekend. It was like, it was a 3-day weekend here in Australia. It was pumping from day one. They finished it in 4 days, like you said. Great waves every day. Some trickier days for sure. Like the final day was a little bit funky, but a lot of waves and great waves out there. But pretty much like iconic Snapper rocks. The sand was insane. And you're right, like a totally different vibe than the last two events that we just had, where it was like one day, went to the end of the waiting period. So it was nice just to kind of like come to an event and get a bunch of waves and just know we were going to get a bunch of waves. And like they were basically like, hey, we're going to run it these first 4 days before it even started because the forecast looked that good. And honestly, I'm looking at it now, it's still pumping. Like they could have they had so many days in a row of being able to run and surf whenever they wanted. So I think that was just refreshing for everyone, but also kind of gnarly coming from Margaret's and then just having zero, like when you start the contest right away and the other event goes to the very last day. And I think we talked about it in the last episode, but I feel like, and sorry, you can probably hear it in my voice because we ended up going out after the comp and everyone just had a bit of a dance and had fun because I feel like the first 3 events were just like so intense and back to back, whether you did really well or had a shocker, like everyone got to the end of the event the other day and was just like, we all just need to have a bit of fun because this has just been so intense. So, but yeah, we were blessed with just such a good forecast, and it really like Snapper rocks. If there's one event to come to, I think as a surf fan, it might be this one. Like it's so cool. It's like people are standing knee deep in the water, like with you basically. And the beach was just, I don't know how many people were down there, but the atmosphere was electric. It was so sick.
I was having like, I clearly have never been on the tour, but I was having like FOMO. Like I was like, I want to be there watching, and I was just geeking out. I was asleep before the finals actually happened, so I woke up but I was always up around your heat because I feel like you were always early in the day. But just watching it and then seeing everyone have fun and just the camaraderie I feel like the event brought to the tour, I was like, this is sick. Maybe I need to make it down there next year.
Honestly, yeah, it's just such a fun one. I think too, like the finals, I went down and watched the finals in person, and I think with Steph being in the finals, and then on the men's side, like it was Ethan and Connor, who are both Aussies as well. So it was just, I don't know. There was a lot of Aussies. There was also, though, you kind of felt like you were in Rio de Janeiro. There was a ton of Brazilians, and the Brazilians did really well in this event, too. So it was like, it was going off down there. It was actually like, pro surfing is so cool. This is the best. And then when Steph won, it was just the coolest thing. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, it was pretty iconic.
We'll jump to your quarters real quick. So for those that don't know, I actually fell asleep. So I thought I was going to miss your quarterfinals. But did they not run it because of the shark sighting? Did that push it too far back into the day?
It did. It delayed the day by a little bit because there was a shark delay in the morning. And so and they had like a single fin heat they had to run. It's like part of like one of the sponsored things. So anyways, they were just run out of light and they had to run that single fin thing that afternoon. So that's why they ran the 3/4 that day, and then I was quarterfinal number 4 and I was first heat basically the next morning. So
how do you feel about that? Is that like kind of mess a little bit with your plan for the day or your mentality, or did they let you know early on, or was it like right before they called it off you were ready to get your jersey and paddle out?
No, they let us know like way earlier on in the day. Once they had that shark delay, Renato Hickel, the director, was kind of like, hey, we can't get your heat done, so just so you know. So I came back and cruised and like knew that, which was kind of nice. I was honestly okay with it. I don't feel like it messed with my rhythm. I was like, I think coming off WA, I was like, I just need all the time I can get, even though I'd already surfed a heat at that point. But I was like, honestly, I'm fine with having another like sleep and surfing tomorrow morning. So that was all right. And that's so surfing. Like you just
so surfing.
I
don't think like
part of it.
Regular athletes can wrap their mind around that. Like I try to tell some teammates, it's like, yeah, imagine your bag is packed, you're ready to go. You say you're going to play this game at 8 a.m. and you get to the pool at 7 and they said, nah, not today.
Yeah, it's every
like,
time.
Nah, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, maybe in a week.
Who knows? Yeah. Also, we might move it down the point. Who knows? So I think I'm used to it. But no, I was all right with that. It was also just kind of nice knowing like who won and what I needed to do, which didn't end up working out in my favor in the end. But I kind of enjoyed like seeing, the other quarters and being like, okay, I know who I'm going to be up against. I know what's going on. So in a way, that was fine for me. Like I was sweet going into that. Yeah.
The waves did look a little better that third day instead of the fourth, though.
I think they were.
I was wondering if you were. I was wondering if you thought about that or if that matters.
I actually thought the morning heat for me was going to be better waves than what they got in the other quarters. But it wasn't. Like I showed up that morning that I surfed the quarters the finals day, did my free surf early, and I was like, ooh, it was just super wonky. I think there was a lot of wind overnight and the swell got like bigger, which you almost didn't want. It was like a certain size for snapper, it sort of like caps out on, I feel like, and then it starts sort of washing past it a lot. So it was just uglier on the finals day. I mean, obviously there's some great waves that got ridden in moments, but I feel like it was not as good as the previous couple days that we had just had, for sure, in hindsight. Which is a bummer because obviously you want to surf in the best waves. But, I don't know. You could say that, but then in my heat, like Lulu seemed to find gems. So they were out there and that, I just didn't find them.
So your semifinals versus Luana Silva, it's a rematch of the Margaret finals. And you caught the most waves I've ever seen you catch.
Yeah, that was sort of the game plan because the day was like if you were on the beach, I sat there and watched for so long, which you wouldn't think it based off of how I really surf the heat. But there was just like a lot of waves. Like if you've surfed snapper, like some waves kind of grow and get really good down the line and they start funky. But if you can see like, oh, this is going to get good, you kind of take it and wait, and then the wave gets good further down. And then some waves fizzle out. Like you kind of got to be able to read the lineup pretty well. And the heat against Luana in the quarters, it was like just a random, it was hard to identify the ones that were going to be really good. Like I felt like you could tell if the wave was a 9-point wave, like a really, really good wave. It was easy. It was like, oh, this is a great one. But identifying like 6s and 7s was sort of hard. You couldn't tell if it was going to be like a 3 or like, oh my gosh, okay, this turned into like a really nice score. So, and I think for me, honestly, I think my weakest link in my surfing is sometimes just identifying those waves and like ocean awareness, honestly.
Yeah.
So my goal, my game plan was to go out and give myself like multiple opportunities and ride a lot of waves and kind of like just try and see what, hopefully one works out. Which I ended up probably needing to be even a little more patient. I took 2 3s in the beginning that were stupid waves. They were way too small to go on. But I think I was just like, I'm such a momentum surfer that like if I just get rolling, I can surf myself into rhythm a lot of the time. That usually works for me. And it just didn't that heat. I think I just took off on stupid waves. I didn't feel like I built momentum. There was one moment after Luana had her good wave. I kind of got a set. I did a carve and then went to slam the end section and I fell. And I think if I make that turn, I'm back in the heat. I think that would have been like in the sevens. And then all of a sudden I had like 15 minutes left still, and I only need one score. So in my mind, that was like a really important wave to ride out of and complete. And I didn't. I just felt like everywhere I looked, it just wasn't happening. And then I'd turn around and she would be on the bomb. Like it was just, I made mistakes, and then she was just also had the rhythm with priority. And like every time I was like, oh my gosh, I took the first wave and she's on the second wave and it's perfect. Or I took the second wave, she took the first wave and that one was perfect. So it was sort of just a bit of everything. But also kudos to her. Like she surfed amazing. She was ripping. She surfed a perfect heat. She identified those waves. Like she was the better surfer and I wasn't. So that, you gotta give credit where credit's due.
Those definitely happened. I mean, I'm looking right now, 25 waves were surfed in that heat. So she was very similar. She had 11, you had 14, and it looked hard to identify. And I've never been to snapper yet, but you can tell, like, sometimes you almost just luck into the ones that run, and then some close out, some fizzle out. So you just don't really know. And then that end section is just pretty heavy. The one turn that you did and you kind of fell in the end section, it pops up so quick, I feel like.
Yeah, it does. And this year, like, there's a lot of sand on the bank, which is a good thing. It's what makes the wave so good. But where there's a ton of sand, it like bowls out so much. It's almost, honestly, it's like surf. It's like why they made the wave pool after this wave. Like Kelly Slater Wave Co. is literally based off of like, Snapper Rocks Rainbow Bay section. So it gets but my point is it gets so bowly that sometimes it almost makes it harder. Like it's really good, but you'll be up on the lip and all of a sudden it kind of sucks out and can drop out from under you or whatever. So that end turn is like critical to ride out of, but can be hard. It's not like this perfect little fluffy section. It's like dumping.
Yeah. And then, obviously quarterfinal finish, still a keeper result. You're still tied for second in the world with Gabby. Mm-hmm. There's this thing in the Australian 3 events called the Aussie Treble. And if you win it, you win a car. So, and you were in the running, but you were going against Luana. So if you won that heat, you would have won the Aussie Treble, correct? And then Luana had to make the finals to win the Aussie Treble.
Correct.
Do you think about stuff like that? Like, you're like, oh, that'd be sick to win. Is it a goal when you're entering Australia leg that you're like, I want to win the Aussie Treble? Are those thoughts and goals?
Yeah, it's a cool thing, because we have 3 events here in Oz, and like, it's kind of like whoever did the best in those 3 events. It's almost like the Triple Crown for Australia in a way. And of course, all of a sudden, I'm in this event and I'm like, whoa. Well, first of all, this year, because we start in Australia, if you win the Aussie Treble, that means you're leaving Australia #1 in the world, because it's whoever's, highest in the rankings at that point and did the best, because it's our first 3. So I feel like the head noise got to me a little bit. I was definitely trying to like block it out and, talk to the sports psych and all the things. But I think I got a little, how do I put it? I think sometimes when you get so close to something, it gets harder. Like I literally was like, all you got to do is make one more heat, which is either of us can make that heat, me or Luana. We're both certainly good enough to win, obviously. And so I think it sometimes can feel like, oh, it's literally right there. And then you're going in #1 in New Zealand. The car's epic. That's sick. Like, you continue the roll. I think even just like a semifinal finish rather than a quarter is a lot more points. Like all those things, I think that's where it is hard sometimes as an athlete to like just stay simple, block it out, don't think about it. So it did certainly come into my mind. And I felt like it was so close, like so achievable. And sometimes that can come back to bite you, which it sort of did. But in saying that, I didn't feel like I paddled out like super nervy or like freaking out. I felt pretty confident and good going into the heat, but I also feel like it reflected in how I surfed the heat. It was probably not like the most, you could see it. Like I wasn't picking great waves. I wasn't identifying things well. I was like a little jittery. So yeah, I mean, in hindsight, it probably got to me a little bit too much.
And
but
I would imagine just in any sports, people like to pick up headlines. So if you're ever doing an interview or going to the pre-comp stuff that everyone's asking you, oh, the Aussie Treble, or interviewing, asking those questions. Is that the case down there?
Yeah, I mean, they start talking about it and like it's a talking point, like you said, for everyone, for the WSL and everyone down there. And it's sick. Like, I want to win a new car and I want to leave here number one in the world. Like, those are big things and big deals. So, it's just those moments that you got to like block it out and just keep focusing on one wave at a time, all the stuff. But it was good. I also haven't been in a position like that for a long time. So it was kind of good to have like, all right, here's that sort of pressure again. Hopefully I get that sort of pressure throughout the rest of this year because that means I'm doing something right and I'm in like the zone. So it was a good little like run through in a way,
Totally. And then I have 2 more questions. So what do you do with the car? Like, if you win, what's Luan going to do? Like, she's just going to keep it in Australia, or do you like ship it to Brazil?
I think she can get it shipped to Brazil or the States. Like, Jordy won the men's last year, and I know he got it to South Africa. Like, he has the car there. So
that's amazing.
For me, it was going to work out because I was just going to have a car here in Oz because we're going to be here. But, for the internationals, they figure it out.
And then... Yeah, how often you mentioned your sports psych. So when you're, maybe pre-contest, what does that look like? Sessions with him or her? And then what does it look like during the contest? Do you like to do all your work beforehand and you'll just maybe text him between heats? Or what's that? Yeah.
Yeah, I usually don't talk too much during the event. It's more like a text here and there. And if we do talk during the event, it's like a quicker conversation, like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. Where like the longer conversations I like to do in between or before the event, really. So that's what I've been doing this year. And I feel like that works good for me. Like, I can just check in on text. That's honestly helpful a lot of the time. Just like, hey, I'm feeling this way. It's just nice to like bounce that off. Obviously, I talk to also like my husband's my main sports psychologist. So I talk to Tom all day, but it's nice to have another like someone else to just bounce that off of, and I'll just check in and he can give me like super simple. I actually texted him like, all right, it's finals day today. I'm feeling a little jittery. Like I feel like I just got to make one more heat. Like it's really right there. I said that. And he was like, rather than focusing on that, just focus on one more wave. And like, you have the opportunity to surf one more wave. So I thought that was a really good point, and I probably should have tried to take that into account a little bit more. But just stuff like that.
I mean, you surf 14 more waves.
Yeah, true. Just needed to identify the good ones a little better.
I'm just curious. Does he surf? Does he know surfing, or has he got to?
No. Yeah. The guy, I kind of have a couple people I talk to. So one person does surf a lot. Actually, he rips pretty hard. And then the other one doesn't surf that much, but I've worked with them for a long time, and they understand it pretty well now. So
yes, totally. And it's also great to just get different perspectives, I'm sure. I was reading Stab, I guess it was yesterday morning, but I have to read this quote because it kind of made me giggle. But have you read it or no? Do you read any of their stuff?
I do. I haven't read what you're going to say, but I feel like I know what you're going to say.
Lulu Silva versus the equal world number 1, Lakey Peterson. A late career surge from Lakey. Overdue, yet oddly out of place.
Like Stab. Keep it coming. They said that about Steph, too.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what? Yeah, she's having the most epic late career surge. And it's
funny.
Right in place. But talking about maybe out of place, or this younger generation that we've heard all about, they premiered the Nowadays, the Red Bull movie. Did you go to it?
I went to it. Honestly, everyone should check out Nowadays. I think it's on YouTube or Red Bull somewhere, but it's insane. They did such a good job. It's sick.
Yes. So for those there, Red Bull just, puts together the surf film showing off their surfers. It's Caroline, Caitlin, Sierra, Sky Brown, Molly, and
Aaron Brooks.
Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Wow, sick. I haven't watched it yet. I've seen clips, obviously, so I got to get to that. But you can see, like, now you kind of understand when you watch probably that premiere why people are always saying, oh, this younger generation's going to take off sooner than later, which we clearly have seen it. But the vets are holding it down.
It's just funny. Like, obviously, you have this new generation who are so gnarly and winning world titles, like Katie, Caroline, Molly. They've all been the world champs the last 3 years. It's not like crazy to say that. Obviously, they're raising the bar on top of what my generation's been doing. But it's just funny. Even like a quote like that from Stat, it's just funny. It's like everyone on the tour can win. You can't sit here and tell me like it's crazy that I won an event, or it's crazy that Steph just won an event at 38. And next week, you know, whoever, or Tia Zabrowski could win an event and she's freaking 14. Like, literally everyone could win. And so it's just funny to me. It's just, again, I just feel like it's a talking point.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not surprised whoever wins an event. Literally anyone on that tour, 100% could be there standing with the trophy at the end of it. It's like, and yeah, I just think it's funny. Steph and I were laughing really hard about it after she won. We were like, this is actually so epic.
Well,
I hope Carissa wins the one and we just bang.
Yeah. Oh, she's going to. Let's talk about Steph. I mean, I think that was like such a sick run that she just went on. Obviously, she's like, how many events has she won there? That was her 7th event she's won.
7th at Snapper Rocks.
At Snapper. So clearly she has an amazing connection. I mean, her surfing was flawless and she just kind of was building. It was like the perfect contest, it seemed like. Like every heat, she was dropping a higher score and eventually just dropped like the 9-5 hammer in the final. And Lulu surfed that final good too.
Yeah,
it was definitely a heat. And just to win at, you know, the local and have everyone there going nuts. It just looked all time. And then you guys let loose that night too. And I was like, I hope Lakey's celebrating too, because she went red-eyed the night she won. Like, this is part of Lakey's celebration.
It definitely was part of my, it was definitely part of my celebration too. I was like, we all got to have a bit of fun here. So yeah, it was just cool to see Steph win. I felt like she started off the contest, honestly. She even said this, like, not surfing that good. Like, she kind of got through a few heats, didn't look that good. And then the final, I feel like she just clicked in and it was like, oh, there it is. Like, just do that. Yeah. She was falling a lot before that and like just didn't look that solid. And then in the final, it was like, there it is, you know, and she got, obviously, this is her backyard. Like, she literally lives right there and looks at the wave all day and surfs it all day. So she knows the ones to go on. She knows where she is out there. But yeah, it was just iconic. It was so cool. It just goes to show, like, again, anyone can win. Everyone is that good, whether you're Steph Gilmore or, you know, it's your first year on the tour. And I just felt like it's cool to see her kind of rise to the occasion. I actually was really stoked. Like, she put together such a great heat in the final to show just like what she still is capable of with her surfing. Because I feel like she didn't really have that moment until the final to like lay it down. And yeah, it's always going to be, you know, a fun after party when Steph Gilmore wins in Coolangatta. All her girls were there. They just started like a tequila company, so they were like having the best time, and it was just cool. You know, it was just an iconic moment, and she's the GOAT for a reason. I feel like she has those moments. It reminded me of when she won her last world title at the Final Five and came from 5th. And just got on a roll and just like built, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna win. So in ways I felt for Luana, like, she's made so many finals and it's hard when you just are the bridesmaids and never the bride, but I'm sure you know, her time will come and she's surfing amazing. She's number 1 in the world. So she'll have her moment, but it was pretty sick to see Steph just drop the mic on that one.
Steph, 38 years old, got the win. Sent it with Cinca Tequila. Shout out to Cinca Tequila and all the girls.
They ran out of the Cinca. I was like, how did you guys run out of this? There's no way. Like, you freaking own the company. What do you mean you ran out?
When you watched on the webcast, you could see like all the girls and they're like holding their bottles of Cinca instead of like, you know, usually pulling like beers on heads and stuff. It was like their Cinca bottles were all over.
They were
like, wow, that's some good marketing strategy right there.
Yeah, it was super fun.
And then there was a moment that I saw, because you said the Brazilian contingency was strong down there. So many surf fans. And Lulu, I think it was after her semis when she won and she went number 1 in the world. And everyone, all the Brazo fans were chanting her name and she just kind of let go in tears. It was like, that was a pretty cool, powerful moment as well. And you're obviously close with her.
Yeah. I mean, we all work so hard and Luana's worked really hard. And like, I always say, like, everyone has their moments, you know, and you got to be stoked for people when they have their moment. And Lulu's having a moment, and it might last, it might keep going, you know, who knows, the sky's the limit for all of us. And she's Lulu's a really sweet person and just a great sport and a great competitor. And so I am stoked for her to have this. She's on a roll right now. She's on a heater, and it's not a fluke. She's surfing really good. She's picking really good waves. Like, her boards look great. Yeah. And
her coach must be pretty good.
Leandro's obviously in rhythm. And yeah, the Brazilian support down here was like crazy. It was a little like, whoa. Like I felt like we were in Brazil. And so I'm sure for her that felt extra special because yeah, there was a lot of support down there for the Brazilians and they're loud and they'll let you know, and yeah, I think that was a cool moment for her, and you got to be stoked for people when they have them, and
Yeah,
she
for
definitely
sure.
deserves that. So yeah, it was sweet.
And then a couple shout outs. Nadia's backhand looked insane. I never really got to
Yes.
see her surf that much. I think she's younger than me, so we never crossed paths really, but I was really impressed and it was cool.
Very.
I'm sure as a rookie, you just need a couple heats or a couple waves to be like, oh, I'm meant to be here. And I imagine that was the contest for her. Like, oh, I'm meant to be here. I can get the 8.5s and the 8s.
Very. Yeah, Nadia, she's so sweet too. Nadia, sorry, she's from the Basque Country of Spain, first surfer to qualify from there ever.
So cool.
And she was ripping, like she was picking the right waves and she was going just top to bottom vertical.
Yeah.
And you're so right. I feel like with the rookies, it's like once you get like an 8.5 or that first excellent score, all of a sudden you can just see it in those people that you're like, whoa, there it is, and she just kept getting the scores from there. It was one wave and then she beat Caroline and then Gabby and then almost beat Steph. That's so gnarly. So
Yeah, she
it's
went on a
cool.
tear.
It's cool to see everyone finding their feet and having their moment. It just speaks volumes to how good everyone is.
Yeah, and I think it's so important, like, so the way they see it is the average of your contest results, so your overall year ranking. So the seedings can change dramatically in the beginning of the event because you could jump 12 spots like super easy when there's only 2 or 3 events. That I think it's so important to get a good result to try to get in that top 8 for round 2
Yes.
versus, you're 8 events in and it's a lot harder to move up that much. So I think I don't know what she's on in the rankings. I should look, but to get her to be top 8, and skip that round is going to be huge. Or for any of the rookies or the lower seeds to make a big jump early on is going to be a game changer for them.
It's huge. It's huge on the women's side and the men's side too, because if you're in that first round, you then win that round, but then all of a sudden you have the number 1 seed in the contest. So it's just hard to break out of it because you're always getting the hardest, whoever's number 1 or number 2 in the world. So for a rookie to have like that breakthrough, it really helps just to get their seeding up a little bit. So either they're in the next round or it's a little easier once they get through like round 1. So yeah. And on the men's, it's super gnarly too. There's like 4 heat of the men's first round. And if they even make it through that, it's immediately like your first heat's Gabriel Medina or Ethan Ewing or Felipe Toledo. So it's definitely helpful to like have that breakthrough. And I think Nadia would have jumped up a fair bit. So I'm actually really stoked for her. She's super cool. She's a rad human.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then on the men's side, just real quick, I feel like somebody that kind of finally had their little breakthrough in a way from the first round with those 4 heats is Mateus. It was nice to see him have some moments and he got to the quarters. And then also a shout out to Liam O'Brien, who it seemed like the lob mob was out in full force. It seemed pretty sick. And I don't know him. He just seems like such a humble, cool guy. And he had some great moments of surfing. But when you match up to Ethan Ewing in the semifinal, it's tough. And, arguably the best, definitely the most technical, stylish surfer right now in the world is Ethan. And he came out with the win, a well-deserved win too.
For sure. I mean, you could kind of see it coming with Ethan, like every heat, he was just building. But Lobby, I always thought Lobby's like a little mini Ethan. He surfs really similar to him. And that semifinal was really epic. Lobby actually got the score in the end. And then there was 30 seconds left or something. And Ethan needed a big score and Ethan got a 9. So it was a good battle for them till the end. But it's cool to see Lobby make some heats. He's so underrated, I feel like. He's gnarly and he charges really hard. He surfs so well. So the lob mob was strong. They all had the heads down there. And there was a lot of them. It was pretty classic. And for Mateus, too, that was cool. He rides, he has the same coach as me. It was nice. Again, going back to rookies, getting out of that first round.
Yeah.
For him to get a quarter was really helpful for his seeding and just to get, out of that red a little bit. So I was stoked for him. Hopefully he can keep it going on the next few events.
Yeah, and Philippe went to town, but he got stopped. Like I think Connor had his like all-time heat in that semis, just went absolutely bananas on his backhand, and then Yeah, Connor Ethan final was awesome. Ethan
It's
crushed
pretty
it.
sick.
Connor did as well. So it was just like such a fun contest to watch. I mean, it makes it so much easier as a fan too, back to back to back days instead of like, oh, are they going to run? Are they not? What's the call?
I know. Yeah.
And over a weekend, it just all came together. So props to WSL for this one.
Yeah.
And now you're going to New Zealand.
Yep.
Ranked second in the world. Talk to us about that. First time surf contest at Raglan.
Yeah, we're heading to New Zealand in a few days. I've been to New Zealand, never really been to Raglan, never surfed the wave though, so I'm really excited.
I've been to New Zealand with
new.
you.
Yes, that's true. Pia.
2010.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna have to check a photo up. That's hilarious. That might be the last time I was there. No, I've been there since then. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go somewhere new. I've heard it's the coolest town. It'll be great to surf a left. I think it's tricky waves, so gonna get there a few days ahead and try and figure out the boards. But yeah, I think it's good in a way. You know, I'm hungry for more. I'm really not happy with my performance at the Gold, or just my last heat here on the Gold Coast. So I think it's like a good place to be in. I'm not really satisfied, although obviously it's been a great start and you got to keep perspective and celebrate, the wins. But I think it's good. I feel like, all right, I still have more to prove and there's areas I need to clean up and want to clean up in my competing. And, I just feel like I'm right in that sweet spot, and it's going to keep getting harder still. At my first heat, I'll have the winner of whoever wins between Bella and Carissa again. So it doesn't really get much easier. It doesn't matter where you're ranked. Like every heat's hard. So yeah, but I'm excited. I feel like I'm in a good spot. I've got good rhythm. I've got great boards and I'm just having fun. I'm happy and loving it and enjoying it and kind of have that perspective. So I'm stoked. It's going to be fun. I hope we get some good waves down there.
Epic. Well, I forgot to ask last Lakey's Lowdown, but what was a high and a low of surfing and then a high and a low outside of surfing during your time in the Goldie?
I would say the high of surfing was probably the waves we got for this event. Like even in the warm-ups, like we just had such fun surf and that was just a treat. And my first heat with Carissa, the waves were so fun. So that was a high. I'd say the low was my heat against Luana. I made dumb mistakes that I shouldn't be making at this point in my career. So that really pissed me off and just wasn't good enough. And then the other high, I think just around the event or just in Cooley is just the vibe of pro surfing. It's so cool. Like pro surfing is just... Sorry, water polo is rad, but pro surfing is the coolest. And
pro surfing is the coolest. I sometimes question if I made the right decision.
It just was one of those ones where everyone was here and it just was like, this is so rad. And so I think to see surfing thriving in that way is just, I don't know. It just, the core surfer in me was really stoked watching that and, watching the finals, even though I wasn't in them. And having a bit of fun, having a bit of dance with the girls was epic after. So that was probably my high, just on a personal note. And yeah, the low on a personal note was just being super tired from WA. Like it's been a whirlwind. I just haven't had my feet underneath me. So gonna kind of take a few days now, which will be nice. Yeah.
Nice. We'll get some rest. We'll be rooting you on in New Zealand. Waiting period starts May 15th. So make sure you check it out. Let's do it.
It's on. Let's keep it rolling.
All right,
KG.
you guys.
Sweet. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.